You want a story about revenge that hits sweet, sharp, and satisfying? Then buckle up, because this one's from my own life, back when I was young, broke, and just trying to make a name for myself. It starts with me getting fired, but it ends with me laughing on a beach in Bali, pocketing a year's salary, while my boss got shown the door. Back in the early 2010s, before everyone with a laptop thought they were a content creator, I landed a gig at a mid-sized university. They wanted to build their brand on YouTube. New, exciting, cutting edge at the time. And me? I was one of the few people who actually knew how to make videos back then. I thought it was the break I needed. The pay was awful, about $2,200 a month. Not glamorous, but I figured I'd get experience, maybe make connections, and climb the ladder. What I didn't realize was just how insane the expectations would be. On my second day, my manager slides a paper across the table. "Here are your KPIs," she says with a tight smile. I look down and my stomach drops. 85 videos. 85 3 to 10 minute videos in 52 weeks. Now, today, with teams and tech and templates, may be possible, but this was the early 2010s. No drag and drop editors, no AI tools, no giant libraries of royalty-free tracks. Just me. One guy. And they wanted me to script, produce, cast talent, shoot, compose music, and edit, all while using my own equipment because the cameras and computers they had were so outdated they couldn't even handle 720p. I looked up and said, "This is impossible." She leaned in, smiling like she was giving me candy. "Just give it a try. Quality over quantity. Don't stress about the number." I wanted to believe her, so I threw myself into the work. The first month wasn't bad. She was pleasant enough, even encouraging. But then she found out I smoked. Just like that, the switch flipped. One day I was the new guy bringing fresh energy. The next I was that smoker. It was ridiculous. She started nitpicking me on everything. "You smell like cigarettes after your break. You were 5 minutes late. Why aren't you answering during lunch?" Meanwhile, I was working 60-hour weeks, pulling 6-day stretches, pouring my entire life into making those videos. But she was out for blood, and I could feel it. 5 months in, she got her chance. I was called into the director's office. My manager was already sitting there, wearing that smug expression people get when they think they've won. The director leaned forward. "I'm disappointed, Alex. We're nearly halfway through the year, and you've only completed 30 of your 85 videos. My jaw clenched. "With respect, I've been doing the work of an entire team by myself. I'm here 6 days a week, pulling late nights, and the videos I've released, they've pulled in more views than anything else your channel has ever had." The director shook her head. "The KPI was 85. You're behind." And then my manager delivered the dagger with her voice dripping fake sympathy. "Don't worry, we'll bring in a professional production house to finish the work." The director nodded. "Yes, you don't need to stress about it, Alex. We'll get the job done without you." And in that moment, I had an idea. A devilish, perfect idea. See, one of my responsibilities was maintaining the database of production houses, the contacts the university could call if they needed outside help. And I knew my manager had zero connections in the industry. She would rely on that database. So before walking out, I went into the system and scrambled almost every contact. Wrong emails, wrong numbers, dead ends everywhere. All except one. That one belonged to a production company where a buddy of mine, Ryan, worked as a junior director. Not an assistant, an actual director, just waiting for a break. I called him up. "Hey, you're about to get a call from my old employer. They need someone fast. Here's the deal. I'll coach you on the pitch, make sure you win the job, and in exchange, your company kicks me a finder's fee, 15%. Everyone wins." Ryan didn't even hesitate. "Hell yes!" Within an hour, his general manager had me on the line. When he heard this could be 6 months of work worth a high six-figure payout, he practically sang. Papers were drawn up. I had a contract in hand before the week was out. 2 days later, guess which production house got the invite to pitch? Ryan's. And thanks to the little playbook I wrote him, he walked into that meeting like he had been making videos for the university for years. He knew exactly what themes they liked, the style they wanted, the kind of campus footage they drooled over. The director and my ex-manager were floored. "It's like you already know us," they said. They signed him on the spot. Now, here's the kicker. Back then, hiring a production house wasn't cheap.
Where I was making $2,200 a month, they were about to pay 2 or 3 times that per video. But with a full team, producer, DP, sound, gaffer, editors, they could crank out a polished video every 2 or 3 days. And that's exactly what they did. 50 videos in 4 months. The university burned through 10 times their budget, but the director was dazzled. My old manager, she looked like she had pulled off a miracle. Meanwhile, I was sitting pretty with my 15% cut, 15 months worth of my old salary. I booked a long vacation, bought myself time to breathe, and paid tuition to a respected film school abroad. It felt like I'd beaten the system. But the real payoff came later. One afternoon in Bali, I was lying in a hammock with a beer when my phone buzzed. It was a colleague from my old job. "You'll never believe this," she said, laughing. "Your old manager just got fired." Turns out, the project's budget had originally been set at around a year and a half of my salary. Instead, she blew through 10 times that without approval, desperate to meet the KPI. When the chancellor of the university found out, heads rolled. My manager was gone. The director got chewed out so badly she nearly quit. And me? I was sipping a cold drink, watching the sun go down, and grinning like a man who just won the lottery. That one petty little play, scrambling the database, setting up my buddy, ended up saving me, launching Ryan's career, and exposing my manager for the fraud she really was. So yeah, I got fired, but I also got a year's pay, my boss lost her job, and I walked away into a better future. If you enjoyed that ride, hit that like button right now. It helps more than you think. And if you want more stories of real-life revenge, the kind that ends with greedy bosses getting exactly what they deserve, make sure you subscribe, because trust me, I've got plenty more where this came from. And remember, sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't screaming or fighting, it's letting someone hoist themselves with their own rope while you cash the check.